Hello everyone. My name is Pooja Pandey. I'm assistant professor in the MCA department, and I'm covering a topic that is switching, and it comes in the subject computer networks. Subject code is KCA 303. Before starting the switching, I just wanted to uh, take a scenario that when we are passing our messages from one computer to the another computer, we are using some terminologies, or what are the methods how we are sending our messages from one host to another. So that thing is known as your switching. That switching is that terminology. Normally we say that our data is traveling from source to source to the destination computer, but what is that terminology? That terminology is a switching, and it is divided into various categories. So we can see that how our messages is traveling, how different messages are traveling, and how they in the networks it is categorized in the different terms. So switching is, in computer networks there can be more than one path from source to destination. If you see in the diagram, this is a source. If you see the diagram, this is a source computer, and if you see, this is a destination. So the data is traveling from source to the, you are seeing that it is traveling from the source to the destination. So basically we say a dedicated path. There are the multiple paths, but we find out the best optimal path for our data that should be traveled to the destination, and that is a optimal path. Optimal path is that is the shortest route. So that is switching. Switching is, in computer networks there can be more than one path from the source to the destination. They can be multiple paths, but we normally opt. If you see that from here, source to destination, there are multiple paths. This blue line, the yellow line, and the red line shows the multiple path, but we are selecting the yellow line because this is the best optimal path, right? Now switching is basically, we categorized into the three parts, that is your circuit switching, packet switching, and the message switching. Now this packet switching is categorized into the two parts, that is your datagram switching and the virtual circuit switching. Clear? Now when we are talking about the circuit switching, see what is the circuit switching. Now for the circuit switching, consider an example of the telephone call. When we dial a phone number, we establish a connection, right? The connection is established, we pass our message to the destination part, and when the connection is disconnected, that you can say that message is stopped. So circuit switching, basically we find out in the hour when we are doing a phone call, when we are doing a telephone to somebody, we are using that type of switching there. So in circuit switching, basically the circuit is established between the two ends, that is a source to the destination, and it provides a dedicated path for the travel from one end to the other end. See, in the circuit switching, the resources are very reserved during the transmission, because we are using the optimal path, or you can say we are finding out the best path how it is connected. We can take an example. We are taking the example of the telephone network. In that, when I am dialing to my friend, thus you can see, when I am dialing or I am doing a phone call to my friend or my colleague or somebody in my family member, that the resources are reserved. That is from, I am the source and the destination is my friend. So that transmission is reserved, or you can see that transmission is going between the, from my phone to the my friend phone, right? And the resources are reserved in that two phone calls, and you can see a dedicated path is there. If I am doing phone to my friend, the phone, that path is dedicated to my friend phone, not to my family member phone. So we can see that in circuit switching, it provides a dedicated path for travel, for data to travel from one to the other end. Now when we are doing a phone call, we are dialing a number, you see a ringtone, a connection is being established, right? So when the circuit is being established or when the connection is established, our whole data is traveling through that dedicated path to the other end, that is your destination. And when our data is completed or transferring of data is completed, the circuit is disconnected. Similar, when we are doing a phone call, when we are talking, we assume that our data is transferring to the destination part, that is to my friend phone call, right? But when the phone is disconnected, there is no talks. So the data has been transferred completely. So that is the working of your circuit switching. Now, when we are talking about the advantages of the circuit switching, we find out that it is a well-defined, a dedicated path exists for the data to travel. Like, we can take an example, the last example or the recent example I have taken, the telephone call. If I am doing a phone call to my friend, then that is a dedicated path, well-defined path exists, right? So there is no waiting time, and second part is that there is no waiting time at any switch and the data is transmitted without any delay. Since that there is a dedicated path, so data cannot be transferred to the other phone call or other date. So it is confirmed that my data is traveling to the destination, that is to my friend, right? So data always reaches to the other end in the order. We can only transfer the data whenever the connection is established. The first most feature or first most thing criteria for the circuit switching is that the connection should be established between the two nodes, right? For the source to the destination. Now, when we are talking about the disadvantages of the circuit switching, see, when I am talking to my friend, a channel is blocked. That source is blocked, or you can say that channel for my phone and my friend phone is blocked. So that channel is blocked for the duration of the transmission. Now, their second disadvantage is that it is inefficient in terms of the utilization of the system resources. And I am talking about the inefficient of the terms of the utilization of the system resources. That means that my phone and my friend phone is you say it is blocked. So some resources are, you can say, they are not properly utilized. It is properly utilized only for the data transfer, but not for the other purpose. Now, the time required for establishing the circuit, sometime when I do the phone call, it takes more time. So there will be time required, the time delay, the time taken by connecting these or you can say establishing the connection between the two phone call can be more. So that will be you can say that really is the main disadvantages of the circuit switching. Now, it requires more bandwidth and it is more expensive. Why? Because it needs a dedicated block, right? So the channels are blocked, the resources are not utilized properly, and there is a time delay. So all these factors lead that it is more expensive and it requires more bandwidth. Now, this is in a diagram of the circuit switching, what I am telling you. See, this is a dedicated path. You can see the source and the destination part, right? If you see in this diagram, this red line is showing that my data is traveling until and unless my connection is established, right? Now, when I am talking about the third part, that is your message switching. For the message switching, we can take an example of your, you say, when I am sending a postal message to my house or to my friend or to my colleague, what I do, I just write a message on that, keep it in the paper, keep it in the envelope, and then I send to my friend address, right? So my whole data or my whole message has been kept in one point and then it is traveling to the other point. It is not like that word to word. Whole letter or whole message has been, you can say, is stored in one host. Then only, if all the message has been stored, then only it is traveling to the other part, right? So in message switching. Basically, there is a no dedicated path to transfer data from sender to the receiver, you say. Now, when I carry the message, usually the message carries a header that contains the full information about the destination. That means that when I am writing a letter, when I am delivering my letter, you say that it means that I am just on envelope, I am writing the address. Okay, so that address, it means that header, that is header. It contains all the information how to reach the destination. For my address, my friend's address will contain the house number, the street number, lane number, and the where it is situated, landmark. All these information are there. So then only my letter is delivered to the destination. But in terms of the networks, we say that when we are transferring our data through the email, there is no dedicated part, right? So when we are transferring, we are giving up the email. Email contains the for example, if I want to send a mail to my friend, what is it? That email automatically contain the full information about the destination, right? Now, the message is only forwarded from hop to hop. Why? Because it is normally all the data, all the information what I am going to send, it is kept in one part and then it is traveling from one hop to another hop, right? So, when there is any intermediate switch, it receives the message and it stores the entire message. Now, the message is stored until sufficient resources became available to transfer it to the next switch. Clear? Basically, message switching is normally as we are storing our data and then we are forwarding that from one point to the other point until the destination, it reaches to the destination. That's why message switching is also known as a store and the forward technique. Now, what are the advantages of the message switching? First, there is no dedicated path, so channel is not blocked and more devices can share the channel, right? Now, it is helpful in reducing the traffic congestion as the message can be temporarily stored in the route and then forwarded when required, right? So, it means that since there is no dedicated path, there is no traffic congestion. Wherever my data is, wherever my message wants to take the path, it can take accordingly. So, there will be a no traffic congestion. Since there is no traffic, no route is dedicated, that's why there is no traffic congestion. Now, disadvantages mean that it is stored at the one point, right? So, you can say it required enough storage to every switch. It means it required enough storage area to store my message. Then only that is a major disadvantage, right? Due to the store and the forward technique, until and unless my whole message is put in the one point, after whole my message is point, then only my message is forwarded to the other technique. So, it is a very slow process, right? And message waits until when? Until the sufficient resources are become available, then only it will switch to the next switches. So, that is a major advantages of the message switching. Now, if you see the diagram here, it is a hop to hop, right? From source, it is traveling, all my data is here, then it is until my all data is accommodated here, it is stored here, then it is traveling to the other part, right? Then after traveling to the other part, again it is stored and it is forwarded to the other. In this, it is traveling in the best optimal path. Okay, it is choosing the best optimal path, so there is no traffic congestion. Now, from here, it is traveling to the, you can say from here, it is traveling to here and then this part. Okay, so that is you can say that is a major, we say this technique we use in the message technique, that is a store and the forward part. Now, there is a third, that is a packet switching. In the packet switching, our entire message is divided into the multiple smaller size, right? For example, and this means that our message is divided into the small packets, right? And this packet is called as the small size packet. Collectively, it is called the technique that is your packetization, right? Now, that is mean that these smaller packets are sent from one after the other, right? And it gives the advantages to the of pipelining, and it reduces the total time taken to the commit the message. It means that, for example, if I am writing a data, right, data, data is written here, right? So first, now the D is traveled, second A is traveled, third T is traveled, fourth A is traveled. So my whole word has been traveled, but it is in the parts of the smaller size. Now, this packet switching is again divided into the two parts, that is your virtual circuit switching and the second is datagram, right? Now, the first is virtual circuit switching. In the virtual circuit switching, the first packet informs the other immediate switches of all the packets that are following. It reserves the resources in terms of the CPU bandwidth required for the following. It means that then it will follow. As soon as my data is traveling, the first packet travel, it automatically inform all the intermediate switches to be ready to take that packet in a proper procedure, so that it is traveled collectively at the destination point. That is in the virtual circuit switching, right? See, this here it is, I have written, D is here written, ATA. So, D is traveled here. Now, again, A, for A part, A, we are traveling, A is here, right? Now, again, T is traveling, A is traveled. So, simultaneously, all the intermediate nodes has been alerted to take the message until and unless my whole data has been traveled. That is, DATA is travel, right? This is in the case of the virtual circuit switching. Now, in the datagram switching, all the packets, each packet is separated as a separate entity and is routed independently through the network. Clear? Again, this one is, you can see this DATA I have taken, and it is taking the each packet, it is taking as a separate entity and it is routed independently through the network. So, that is, you say it is a datagram switching. Now, what are the advantages of the packet switching? It is a cost effective and easier to implement, right? It is the best one. We considered it is the best one, and normally it uses a less bandwidth, as packets are divided into the small packets and it is routed quickly towards the destination. Okay, it never takes a large amount of these spaces. Why? Because the packets are being divided into the small sizes, right? Now, if any of my packet is lost, you can request for the new packet. That is you can say best advantage of the packet switching. So, there is no case of my packet is lost. Now, when we are talking about the disadvantages of the packet switching, see, they are not suitable for when you can say when we are traveling for the high quality voice call, when we want to deliver the high quality voice call, it is not suitable. Because if there is a delay in the packet, the voice calls will not be good, right? For example, when we do the WhatsApp video call, so this packet switching is not worth, right? Packet switching now needs a high installation cost, right? They require a complex protocols for the delivery, and network problems may occur, introduce errors in the packets, delay in delivery of the packets, right? And or loss of the packets. Because if there is any delay, your packet will be lost and there will be a delay. And in networks, when we are studying the networks or network concepts, we never say that if there is any delay or there is any error in this, in my traveling my data or my packets, that thing is not considered as a good, right? So when I am doing a comparison of the switching technique, like a quick review of comparing these three techniques what we have studied. When we are talking about the application, this message switching is, you can say, is telegraph network for the transmission of the telegrams, normal, right? In the circuit switching, we take the telephone network. In the packet switching, normally we talk about the internet, right? What is the N terminal? N terminal is your telegraph and teletype. In the circuit switching, it is a telephone and we normally use modem, right? In packet switching, we use normally computer. What are the main terminals? And what type of information in the switching travel? In the message switching, it is a ASCII Morse, right? In the circuit switching, the information is traveled by the analog voice or PCM or digital voice, right? In packet switching, it is a binary information. Now, in the transmission system, it is a digital data over the different transmission medium, right? Then in circuit switching, it is analog as well as digital data. While in the packet switching, again it is a digital data over a different transmission media, because here binary information is traveled. When we are taking the computer here, we are always my data is always travel in the binary form, and when binary form, the data, digital data over the different transmission media, right? So thank you all for this video lecture. Thank you.